everyone, welcome back to part 3 of the Trifle sweater. So today we're working on the back neck. So put down part 2, pick back up part 1, and the beginning part of it is easy, right? I'm just telling you to repeat what you've been doing up until you get to the last little bit. Basically, you're going to go all the way up and you keep crocheting until you're to that back, only the last 5 rows of your back, which is like about 2 inches left of it. You'll notice now I have those words, what we talked about in part 2, the keep going to your desired length, adding or subtracting the 4 rows that we talked about in part 2. So if that confused you or you didn't see part 2, go back, watch part 2 so you can see that part, just so you know what I'm talking about with the length. But today we're talking about shaping. And what I like about this is that it gives you, it's like a stepping stone into the front shaping, which we'll do in part 4. It's just like a little bit for now, just a little bit to kind of like wet your feet into it so that you can be like, oh, that wasn't hard. There's like 2 stitches to learn. It's not a big deal. And that's really what I want you to take away from today. It's not a big deal. We're just doing a little bit of shaping for the back of our neck. Because a lot of times when you think about a sweater, you think it goes straight across the back, but it doesn't. We have to dip down because otherwise your collar would be like way up high instead of sitting down at your shoulders. It's the way that we are made, that you actually need to dip down and not keep it straight at, go straight across the back, because otherwise your collar would be up high and you don't need it all the way up your neck. But let's take a look. Let me show you. Join me on my table as always. Let me show you what we're doing today. All right. So as you can see today, we just kept on going, right? I just kept on going on my panel all the way up until these last 5 rows. These are the last 5 rows. And you can see it is almost perfectly square, except we have this little kick out. And that's what we want. We want it so that when we put on the collar ribbing, think of it, like it's at least an inch, so it fills in this quite a bit when you're going around. It's still a generous crew neck length. For the smaller sizes, this is 10 inches. For the larger sizes, this is 11 inches. So even with an inch on either side, that's 8 inches. It's still a good amount. But I just wanted you to see what you're going to be doing. So this is the end of what we're doing. And it's just a very minimal amount of shaping, which you'll get, you can see how it's done. And then when we get to the front, you'll be super familiar with it. But you will not be surprised. Today, we are 100% going to be talking about a ton of symbols. That's why I wanted to make them nice and big so that you can see what we're getting into. Okay, stacked, we've already done in the beginning. You know how to do that. Double crochet, single crochet, chain, all fine. This you may have never done before. This is just a single crochet 2 together. So you go from 2 to 1. Then we have this funny word, one that's so weird, we just called it the neck decrease. And then double crochet 2 together. So double crochet 2 together is just what you think it is. It's like 2 double crochets that are going to become 1. Okay, so this funny one. This one is called a double crochet, treble crochet, 2 together. So basically what's happening is that you're going from a double crochet and then you need a longer stitch, a treble, and they're going to come together and make 1 stitch. Double crochet, treble crochet together. the neck decrease is basically you have 2 double crochets and 1 treble that all need to join together. Now, what you'll notice though is not every size uses all of these. So it depends on what size you're making of which one of these you're going to need, because basically what's going to happen is we're all going to end up somewhere different on our stitch repeats going across, that you're going to need a different one of these. So I just want to go through and show you all of them, no matter where you are. To get started, what I'm going to do is, this is where you'll notice that there is a million different stitch diagrams. There's 4 different ones for one side of your back, and then there's another 4 different ones for the other side of your back, for the opposite back shape, the opposite back neck shaping. Lots of words. But what we're going to do is, they're similar. There's a lot of similarity, so I'm going to break them into 2 groups. So let's look first at the extra small or the large. Like, these will end up being the same. The only difference is why we have these parentheses. So if you're doing the extra small, small, you're going to do every single one of these stitches. If you're doing the large, you just repeat this again. So instead of having 1 stitch repeat, so chain 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, you're going to have 2. It's all written out, but I just want to make sure that you understand that for the small and extra small and small, that size, you do exactly what you see. For the large, you have 1 extra. Now, what I'm mainly looking at is how we end. We're using the double crochet treble together stitch. That's how this one ends. So row 1A is the same as row 1A of the 2x and 5x. But once again, look, this one is written for the 2x size, and the 5x is exactly the same, except you do it once more. So the row 1A is the same row as the extra small, small, and large. It's just it has more stitch repeats. 1A. 1A is the same. They'll separate when we get to 2A, but I'll show you how they're different. For now, we're just going to use this one because it's nice and big and we can see what we're doing. All right, I'm going to go back to my swatch that I was working on before. Obviously, on yours and on mine, you have a lot more. There is a lot more to this, right? I'm just doing a little swatch so we can see what we're doing. But obviously, there's a lot more. What you're going to do is you're going to work across, and then you'll leave the rest of the work undone, because that is where we'll skip to make a neck. Okay. So what it shows us to do is we do single crochet, chain 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, single crochet. This is our repeat, right? This is our stitch repeat. So if you're a large, you'll have another one of these, and then you'll do your decrease. So now we come into what's going to happen. So it continues in our stitch pattern that we know. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, double crochet in the next double crochet. Then we have our decrease happening. So let's just crochet it all together. What's going to happen is you're going to finish, it's almost like you finish that next repeat, except when you get to the chain 2 space, what you want to do is you're going to do a double crochet like you normally do. So in your brain, it's like, okay, I've done all this. Now it wants a decrease, because basically what it wants to do is it wants to mimic this line that's happening here. It's like it wants to finish this stitch and mimic this line, but what I want is not to end here. I could get this shaping, but I'd have to end here, fasten off, join over here. This way, if I kick out, if I do a leg that kicks out, I can start from here and work the rest of the way up. So this is why we do this funky decrease. Again, remember, we're talking about extra small size, large, 2x, and 5x. Those are the 4 sizes that use this. All right, when it's time to do your decrease, what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the chain space, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2. That's like making the first leg of your double crochet. Now you're going to pause. You're going to yarn over twice. It tells you to skip 2 stitches and go into the next single crochet. Pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Look at it this way, as you've just made a leg of a treble. So when you have 3 loops left on your hook, you yarn over, pull through all of those, and that's made our double crochet treble decrease. So let me show you that one more time. Let me pull out and show that to you one more time. Okay. Here we would insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Think of that as 1 double crochet leg. Now we're going to yarn over twice. Basically ignore that these are on your hook. Just ignore it. Just yarn over twice, insert your hook, pull up a loop. And I'm inserting my hook. You can think about it as you're going to be inserting it into the center where you normally would have done your single crochet. That's where you're going to insert your hook for your leg. Now we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So it looks like we did a treble. It's like we forgot to finish it off, almost. So when we have 3 loops left on our hook, we yarn over, pull through all of those 3. And that finished the decrease. So that's your 1A row. If we come back to our stitch diagrams, this is where the 2 differ. In your extra small or large sizes, you would chain 1 and pretty much go back into your stitch pattern, other than you're starting with 5 single crochets. That's a little odd, but it's the same. It gets different at 3A because we need to finish off somewhere. So instead of like chain 2 and a double crochet, we only have 1 here. So it just truncates it a little bit. But no stitches here are hard or different to follow. Our 2x, 5x, this is where it changes. And this is what I'm going to show you on the little swatch. What it does is it chains once, and then we do a single crochet 2 together. And then you go back in your stitch repeat. So this one, when you're doing 3A and 4A, this is your standard. Think of it almost as like it's the same of the stitch repeat you've done. It's just ending differently. Usually when you start with a stacked double crochet over here, you're not ending with a single over here. But it's in the same stitch pattern. There's nothing different here. So this is where these 2 diverge. These 2 sizes diverge. This one would have 5 single crochets, and this one is essentially having 3. This is where they diverge because obviously the 2x, 5x needs a little bit wider of a neck opening. So this is how you do it. This is how you get just a tiny little bit extra. So let me show you what that looks like. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to skip this whole decrease. So you'll skip that whole decrease and then do a single crochet 2 together. So that is insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then single crochet in the next 2, and keep going on with your stitch pattern. That is how you will finish your decrease so that you end here, whereas the small or large would end here. Those are the 2 differences. The rest of it you got. I'm going to let you go on your own, but all right. Medium, extra large, and 3X. You're up. All right. For both of you, what happens is the same thing where the medium and extra large, what's going to happen for your 1A is you're going to continue across in your pattern, either, 2-stitch repeats or 3-stitch repeats, and then you're ending with a neck decrease. So we're going to look at that. 3X, 4X, you're the same. Your row 1A is exactly the same. You do 4 stitch repeats and you end up with a neck decrease. All right, so let's look at that on another swatch. You can pretend that this keeps on going. What we have is we have 1 stitch repeat done. So now let's finish the next repeat. So this is 1. We'll finish this one. We have 2 stitch repeats done now. And following the pattern, we're going to chain 2. And instead of going in and doing 2 double crochets in the next one, this is where we're going to do our neck decrease. This is like 3 stitches all going together. So let's look at how to do this. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the next chain 2 space, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook, 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now let's do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the chain 2 space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. This is like having 2 double crochets hanging out on your hook, just the bottom legs of them. All right, now we're going to put like a treble leg into the next one. So yarn over twice, insert your hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now if you look at it, you have double, double, treble. We have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through all of those. And that makes your neck decrease. Basically, it decreases it. Think of it as this way. It's decreasing it because what we want to do is decrease it through this like solid section. So it mimics what's happening in your pattern, but it's like cutting it in half. So we'll still have this nice and solid stitch instead of having a hole that really doesn't belong in our pattern. Let me show you this one more time just so you can see it. So to start off the neck decrease, you yarn over, insert your hook into the loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert your hook into the loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have 1, 2 double crochet legs. Now we're going to yarn over twice, insert our hook into the next double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We have 1, 2, 3 legs. We have 4 loops. We're going to yarn over, pull through all of those. The next part of the pattern is really not too different. It just starts off with a chain 3. You turn your work and you double crochet into the first single crochet. So again, you can think of it as it is continuing that angle in a hole to make a hole, because now we're in like the lacy section. This was a solid section. And we just go ahead and continue on in the stitch pattern that we already know. So 2A is the same for the medium, extra large, and 3X, 4X. So both their 1A and 2A are the same. Where they differ is going to happen in row 3A. So they come across with the same. You're starting with a stacked double crochet, and you go across until you get to this chain 3 section that we started with. For the medium extra large, you're going to put 2 double crochets in it and turn and can come on back on your way. So that's where this differs. In the 3X, 4X, instead of putting 2 double crochets in here, it just ends at the double crochet again, That's how we make this neckline a little wider because we're ending, and come back and do all the regular work. So when you're looking at your neck shaping, this part can seem confusing because there's so much directions. What I want you to do is find the directions for your size, highlight it for your size, and ignore the rest. Grab the stitch diagrams just for what you need. You don't need the rest of it. All right, once you have this one done, then it's going to tell you to skip an amount of chain 2 spaces. Basically, it's a way for us to describe how to get from here, where you fastened off, all the way over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to count your chain 2 spaces. In the small and extra small, you skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain 2 spaces, and then 2 single crochets, then you join. However many you skip will depend on what you're making and what size you're making. So pay attention to how many it tells you to skip. And then you'll come and you kind of do the same shaping but in reverse. So let me show you what it looks like, because of course we have stitch diagrams for these as well. So before we had that treble leg that kicked out, so now we're at the start, we're not the end. All we do is we can join here, chain 3, and then come. So this side is much easier. It's much easier all the way around. For the 5X and 2X and 5X, it's the same. You start with the chain 3, and then you're going to end. You know how we started with the single crochet, the 2 together? This time you're going to end with a single crochet 2 together. Again, very easy. You guys will have no troubles. Okay, medium and extra large. Also, your sizes are also very simple, but let me show you a couple things I want you to pay attention to. So you're going to join your yarn to your double crochet and chain 3, and then just do a double crochet 2 together. So think of it as your neck decrease, but without the extra leg in it. Once you get that neck decrease, you can do a double crochet 2 together, no problem. When you come back for your medium and extra large, you end with a single crochet, and then instead of starting your stacked in that single crochet, you're just going to start it into your chain 2 space. So there is a little bit of a difference, because normally we're starting our stacked in the very first stitch. Well, I'm just telling you to hop over. Don't worry. You'll definitely get it, and you'll be able to do it. All right. For our 3X, 4X size. For you, when you come back with your row B2, now you're going to be doing the double crochet treble together that was done for the extra small, the large, the 2X, the 5X on the opposite side. You'll get your chance to have that fun of doing that stitch. And then you come back and you can kind of relax. So kind of the mixing and the matching here for your size is what you'll be doing. I have full confidence that you'll be able to do all of this without a problem. I think the hardest thing when it comes to shaping is that sometimes you get in your own head and you second guess yourself. So I don't want you to do that here. You got your words, your stitch diagrams, and then don't forget you have us. So, hop into the Facebook group, ask a question if you don't see it, show us what you're doing. Make sure you take a picture, because it's a lot harder to figure out where you are on this. Because what I want you to do is get used to it. Get used to this little bit of decreasing, because when we get to the front, we're going to be doing more of it. It's just knowing that you're starting and your ending could be different than what you're used to in your stitch pattern. That's shaping. It's just, you're going to start a little differently and you may end a little differently, but the middle is what you've been doing for 2 days. So it's what you're used to. All right, with that, go crochet. And I will talk to you in part 4. We're going to talk a lot about shaping and some other things on our front. And we are you're making fantastic headway. You're doing such a great job. Can't wait to see everything, and I will see you all later. Bye, everybody.